oh damn girls, I gotta start a podcast now. So then I rework it, and I'm like, so 3 months ago, it's only been 3 months. Melissa wanted it the next day. She's like, where's the podcast? Is it next week or the week after? I'm like, Mel, I'm looking at like May or June or July, and she's like, it better be May. And I'm like, okay.
You're better than that.
So like Tracy is my like cautious supporter, like very level-headed, very like sweet, and then Mel's like, get it done, like now, like, and I love it.
Capable.
I know, she pushes me, and we all need friends who push us. So anyway, the podcast has taken on a life of its own. It's taken on a life of its own because I'm pretty sure I was born to be a podcaster.
Yes.
So
Sure.
She can talk, man.
I
She can
can tell
she's
stories,
articulate.
and I don't hold back, and I tell the truth.
And your voice is a good.
Thank you.
Yes,
I
she has
would
a
like
really
to get
good
into
voice for
voiceover
podcasts.
work. I'm
Really.
finding I might be good at it.
Yeah.
I've gotten some hits, so you never know.
Really good.
I have a great audio team. So again, without these two, the idea never would have come to fruition. It never would have happened because I almost quit a million times along the way. I've never completed a project. I liken myself to like a modern day Martha Stewart, and yet I've never been able to finish a blog. I've never been able to finish a book. I've never been able to put an idea together like beginning to end. And now I have. And now I have. I have a legit, high quality, really good podcast with real listeners. And the reason that it has worked is because of strategy and planning and really good content. And so the podcast launch where you guys are at tonight is a complete grassroots effort. And these girls have helped me brainstorm along the way. And so what I've done is I went to my hometown. My brother's a dentist in my hometown. He's married to a hometown girl. We had a party with my friends from high school and college and my family. Women who I know, women who I grew up with, women who care about me. I asked them, please download the podcast. Please share it with a friend. Please give me a rating. Please, I'm throwing a party. Please just, this is my ask. So I did that. Then I went to my ex-husband's hometown in Wichita, Kansas, where I still have great girlfriends from the junior league that I talk about on the podcast. They're all married. They all brought their husbands. They all downloaded the podcast. They all shared it on social media. They all told people. Then I went to Karen Lemke's in, Tracy hooked me up with a single girlfriend in who is a rep as well in Lee Summit, Missouri, way out east. I don't know anybody in Lee Summit, Missouri, but Karen does. She invited her family, her friends. They all did the same thing. Had a party at my house. Had a party at the Denton apartment building that Lainey and I moved into when we had to leave our family home, you know. I'm going back to all the people that care and are vested, and what this is doing by you all contributing by clicking a button tonight. It hits the search engine optimization. It hits the algorithms online to where I look really popular. And then globally, people find me who really care about the content. And I will say, another motivator was I couldn't find anything like what I'm doing. I am 43, I am not 25. I cannot listen to a dating podcast with young women. I can't relate. I've got a kid to think about. I've got, you know, parenting and exes and finances. I'm at a different point in life. So there was that. Like, there was this unmet need, sales girls. There's an unmet need that I couldn't find anything like me. And then the other thing is, in my last marriage, and I talk about it all over the place now, my ex struggled with an addiction to alcohol. And it was a huge contributing factor to our divorce. It was the final, reason that we split up. But it was something we struggled with for 8 years together. And I had a close girlfriend that I finally confided in. These girls didn't know my marriage. I hid it.
Well, when
good
we
alcoholic
did, we
families
called
hide it
each
from
other and
everybody.
said, what the fuck?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What?
You just keep it a secret. You brush it under the rug. We looked perfect
Oh, they're
online. No
beautiful
one would
couple.
have known.
Beautiful.
He wasn't
family.
angry. He didn't beat me, but he might have abused me in other ways. He might, all of that was happening. And it was not okay. And I knew, and I worked on things, but I had a girlfriend who introduced me to a podcast. I didn't listen to podcasts. I didn't even have the app on my phone, And I listened. And I tell the story. I felt like she had cameras in my house. She knew everything that was going on in my house, and she talked to me like I was her friend. And I took her advice. It took me 5 or 6 months of listening to her podcast to watch him get worse and save my daughter and I. And it took a lot of education. It took a lot of leaning on really close people. And I kid you not, if that one friend had not told me about that one podcast and I had not listened day in and day out, and she coached me and told me everything to do every day, like if you come home and this happened, then do this, you know, all of this real stuff, because she had lived it. She married her high school sweetheart for 10 years. They had 3 kids together. It was her reality. And just hearing the raw truth and not having to go to a therapist, which I did too, or read a book, which I did too. She gave the real perspective as a wife and as a mother. And it left me no room for error. I'm like, absolutely, when he started driving our children around under the influence, I left. You have to, something's got to give, you know, and it gave. And so my content, I talk about that in a lot of interviews now, because it is shameful, it's a secret, everybody knows someone with a problem and nobody goes there. I'm going there because it changed my life. My daughter and I are 100% better off on our own. And I concern myself with every single day trying to be joyful with my daughter. I have 2 years left with her until she graduates high school. So that is where I put my focus. So man shopping sounds flippant and sounds stupid and whatever. Well, it's catchy, you know, but there's a way deeper message here that I'm trying to share. And if anyone reads one Instagram post that I make or listens to 3 minutes of the podcast, they know what I'm about. And so I'm just trying to make a difference in a small way, but not really. I've got really, really big, I've got like 4 books in my head coming, you know, so this is like the beginning. And I appreciate all of your busy lives. The month of May sucks, it's so hard. And just the open-mindedness to come to something like this tonight is a big deal to me. And I just appreciate you. And if you're friends of Tracy and Mel's and family members of Tracy and Mel's, I love you dearly already, because of what these girls mean to me. And literally nothing would be happening in my life right now other than online dating if they didn't push me to do this. I wouldn't have done it. I would have quit at least. I at least would have quit.
I did try.
So
I met this great guy.